Okay, another week, another snakes in the grass. Without further ado, let's get into the news. So on Tuesday, we got a not so surprise announcement that Xbox would be holding another developer direct, similar to last year's, where they showed Hi-Fi Rush, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, and Redfall. The only thing that really interested me in the last developer direct was Hi-Fi Rush, and that got shadow dropped at the show. Now this time, I can say that nearly all of the games really interest me. The showcase will be held next Thursday on the 18th of January. Starting off with the game that interests me the least, Aura History Untold. Now, I'm not really a strategy type of guy when it comes to games. Age of Empire doesn't interest me, Civilization doesn't interest me, so the game really doesn't have too much leeway to reach out to me as a gamer. But for those who are big strategy fans, I do hope that this game interests you and does pique your interest. And who knows, I didn't like puzzle games until I played Cocoon. Maybe something similar can happen here. Now on to the next game, Hellblade 2. Now I don't actually need to see too much from Hellblade 2 here. Maybe a bit more gameplay, a bit more behind the scenes looks. But apart from that, I really don't want the experience to be overly showed too much. All I really need here is a concrete release date for the game, and it's all good. Moving on to a game that does really interest me, but I do really need to see more of. We're getting our first big deep dive into Avowed at the direct from Obsidian themselves. Those of you who had watched my games I'm looking forward to in 2024 video know that Avowed is my second most anticipated game, because I am really looking forward to the story and RPG elements that Obsidian crafts in its gameplay experiences. I did voice some concerns in that previous video, so hopefully I can see more of the game and understand it more on the gameplay level to voice those concerns. I have heard other concerns from other people about how the game looks aesthetically bad or graphically bad or whatever. Up to your preference, and if you're disappointed by it, that's completely fair. Personally, I like the art style of it, but it is more graphically crisp on the texture side and on the lighting side as well. But moving on to the game that's last but certainly not least on the announced side of games at the showcase, Indiana Jones, which was a huge surprise when I looked at the art of the showcase. From the developers who brought Wolfenstein into the modern age, Machine Games are known for their good set piece crafting and storytelling, and Todd Howard, who described the game as a mashup and not just one thing and a unique experience. Let's play that clip from the Lex Friedman podcast right now.
Not only didn't have the time, they probably weren't as good a fit as Machine Games, who's done the Wolfenstein series, who is the perfect fit for this game with storytelling and how they record it. And it's awesome. They're just doing an incredible job with that game. People are going to be, if you like Indiana Jones, it is a definite love letter to Indiana Jones and everything with it.
Can you say if it's more on the action adventure like side, like the actual experience of the game?
I could go back. I would just say it is a mashup. It is it isn't one thing intentionally. So it does a lot of different things that, myself and Yurik and the folks at Machine Games have wanted to do in a game. So it's a unique thing.
Now we can expect just over 10 minutes of Indiana Jones here, including the first gameplay trailer, details on the setting and story of the game, how we actually be able to play as Indiana Jones in the game. Also in the news, the name of the game, beyond just Indiana Jones, has been leaked as well. Apparently it's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, as it was supposed to have been trademarked a while ago by Disney, and a bunch of domains for sites have popped up that have taken that name. Now moving on, if we could potentially see a shadow drop at a direct, it's a possibility. But personally, I'm going into the direct with the mindset that it won't have any shadow drop, because you really don't want to set that expectation that there will always be a shadow drop. Because if there is it really a shadow drop or a surprise anymore if we expect every developer direct to have a shadow drop like Hi-Fi Rush? But moving on to the next big topic, apparently the Switch 2 specs have been leaked. Now we got some potential leaks regarding the Switch 2 specs and a potential release window for the Switch 2 or the Super Nintendo Switch, whatever you want to call it. Just for the purposes of this video, I'll just call it the Switch 2. Now I'll address the potential specs. Keep in mind that these could be complete bullshit because, you know, anything can happen. But apparently this was leaked by a Taiwanese economic site, or, you know, I thought it was a retailer or something like that. Apparently the console will be $400 as the price point, which is okay. One thing that isn't so good is the 64 gigabytes of storage that the Switch 2 is rumored to have. If that is true, that means you could probably store about a quarter of a modern Call of Duty game on the Switch 2. Basically just get an SD card at that point to store your games if you didn't have one already for your old Switch. 8 gigabytes of RAM is also concerning. The standard really is becoming 16 gigabytes for most games. So maybe Nintendo could make it work, but it's still up in the air. The screen is also supposed to be 120 Hz, which is good. And the battery life is supposed to be significantly better. In terms of the release window, apparently GameShark at CES leaked that it's supposed to release in September at some point, which is crazy but believable. We'll see what Nintendo does for this next gen console in terms of backwards compatibility or special features in the future, I'm sure. Now moving on to the small amount of anime news we have, let's get into that. So Dorohedoro has had a sequel or season 2 announced for its anime. I haven't really even watched Dorohedoro. I've heard great things from the manga. I'll need to check that out at some point. And also another small anime tidbit. Solo Leveling anime has started. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently from the manhwa, I believe it is, it's supposed to be a good isekai similar to like Sword Art Online or something. I do know people in real life who are fans of Solo Leveling, so it's going to be interesting how it translates to the anime format. It's already, episode 1 has come out, and the preview for episode 2 I think is out, so I'll go watch that in a bit. So yeah, it's been crazy busy. That's it for this video. It's a bit of a shorter one from my last 3, but this is basically the format. Apologies again, this video is going to be out late on the Sunday. I've been crazy busy in real life. Cocoon review coming out next week, I promise. This time it will happen. See you in the next video.